Be live? Okay. Hey guys, welcome to another live video at Gadgets 360. I'm Royden Sarejo and I have my colleague Vidya Shenoy. And today we'll be unboxing a very special phone. Can you guess what it is? Okay, so it's not the new iPhone or anything that you might be expecting like the Pixel. It is in fact the LG G7 Plus Think. Now, LG quietly snuck this phone in actually without much hoo-ha. There was no major, big event or anything. All we got was a press release saying that the phone is now available in the market.
Yeah.
So this, and for the first time, I think LG has played it smart with this launch
Yeah.
because they have priced it very, very sensibly. So the G7 Think, which was launched around May this year, uh, is priced in India at 40,000 rupees, which is at the same level as the 8GB OnePlus 6. So it makes it a very interesting contender
Yeah.
basically in the market.
So to talk about the G series, it's like the it's LG's flagship series,
Yeah.
and this is the successor of the LG G6.
Yeah, the G6.
So the G7 thing took its time to come to India
Yep.
because usually it's like they launch their
Yep.
new models a little early.
Yep.
So I think they've taken their time, and let's go ahead and unbox
Yeah, I
it.
think we should just unbox it and
Yep.
basically see what we get inside. So,
If you guys have any question about the G7 thing, please put it down in the comments.
oh yeah, we'll try our best to answer
All of them.
most. I was gonna say most.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get this shrink wrap off. Okay, so on the box we have an MRP of 55,000 rupees, but again, that's no one really goes by the sticker price. So we've broken the seal. There we go. Okay, so we have
It's a
the
microfiber
phone
cloth.
with a microfiber covered by a microfiber cloth, which is nice. And here we have the G7 Plus Think.
Yeah. So we've already got a question from Twinkle Thakur. She's asking OnePlus 6 or LG G7 Plus. Just wait
So,
for us to at
Twinkle,
least
we've barely unboxed the phone, so
Yeah.
maybe let's get everything out of the box and we can maybe give our initial impressions of it,
Yeah.
not maybe the final verdict yet. So this seems to be like a blue color. I don't know if you can see through this packaging. Let's just take
Just check the
this.
box as well.
Yeah, just it should be at the back.
Yeah. So this says like
Okay,
it's black, but it looks a little blue.
okay. So
It's like
yeah,
a-
it has a hint of blue. I don't know if you can see it through this feed, but it looks pretty nice. I mean, I
Yeah.
can see why they have this microfiber cloth right on the top because
So
it
we've
is
got
a huge fingerprint
So
match.
we've got a comment from a fellow YouTuber Dhananjay. Hey Dhananjay, and
Hey.
he's asking, what do you think about the aggressive pricing? Will it help LG? What do you think? And write in your comments.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much it would help LG because, I mean, over the past years, LG hasn't really had the best lineup of smartphones. I would say
Even
it
the
has been
pricing-
the pricing hasn't been good, but they've sort of over the few months they've dropped the pricing to make it more aggressive. But still, it hasn't really been. They really haven't had some phones in a long time that have been really captivating. Like I think the
Yeah.
G2 when it started off the G series, if you remember the G2
Yeah.
and the G3 was not okay, but the G1 and the G2
G2
were like
were
really
really
good
nice.
phones, especially the battery life if you remember.
Yeah.
So
I think with LG, like most people after the launch, pretty much forget about these flagship devices because
Yeah.
it kind of fails to capture the attention of the audience. And what we've usually seen is it would be priced exorbitantly at first,
Correct.
and then in a couple of months you'll see it dropping by like 10,000-20,000 rupees easily.
Exactly. So it's
So-
really nice to see someone at LG India, make the decision like, let's just price it sensibly from the get-go rather than having the whole charade of, pricing it high because it's like the premium thing and then dropping it after a few months because obviously it's not selling very well.
Yeah.
So good props to LG India for the aggressive pricing. So we can go on about
So
this
we'll
all day.
show
So
it
let's-
closer to the camera so that people get
Oh, yeah.
like a proper view of
Okay.
the LG
Is this close
G7
enough?
thing. So we've got a few more comments. Punus V Benny, I'm sorry if the pronunciation isn't right, says that hi, I'm a hard fan of Gadgets 360. Well, happy to hear that. So I am very interested in buying a phone,
Okay.
but I'm always in doubt because day to day, always new phones are launching. So help me buy the best phone under 40,000 rupees.
Well, I think I mean that's kind of tough. Right now, I think under 40,000, we have a couple of
Good
pretty
phones there.
good
Like we have the
offerings. Like
Nova 3 that
the
you
Nova 3, yeah, the Nova 3 was good, but I was gonna say like the Zenfone 5Z
5Z.
at 30,000.
It's like under 40 is what Ponos is asking for.
Yeah,
We've got the OnePlus 6 under 40. We've got the Zenfone 5Z under 40. We also have the Huawei Nova 3 under 40.
yep,
And now
and
this.
now G7 Plus, so this could very well be added to that list. So I'm just gonna go ahead
Yeah.
and maybe dig into the
Yeah.
box and just to see what else comes in.
So Roydon's going ahead with the unboxing. I'll take a few more questions.
Yeah.
Venkat Narayan Reddy is asking which camera is better, the OnePlus 6 or the LG G7 Think. Well, Reddy sir, you'll have to stay tuned because we've just unboxed the
Yeah, we are
G7
just
Think
taking it out of the box.
and we'll need to compare it with the OnePlus 6 to give a verdict on which one is better. Now, Karimullah Karim is saying that this is a monstrous phone at 40,000 rupees. Well, we do think as well because the kind of hardware it gets, for the price it's asking, well, it's a good offer. Um, does it have, G Chandrasekhar is asking, does it have the user accounts feature? Well, we will power it on and let you know that.
Yeah. So just real quick, for those who are not paying attention, maybe we just have some quick start guides. There's quite a sizable power adapter, quite
Yeah.
chunky.
This actually reminds me of the Nexus 5X. Like it had a similar charger,
It
a
does,
big,
yeah.
and does it
But
does
another phone
mention,
made by LG.
yeah.
So,
So it does mention fast
yeah,
charge.
you do have fast charge written on the top, so this will support Qualcomm's quick charge.
So while we are talking about chargers,
Yeah.
Raid Rizwan has a question. What is the battery capacity of the G7 thing?
From my memory, if
It
it
is a
serves me
3000.
correctly, I think it's around 3000 milliamp hour,
Yeah.
which seems a little less to be honest, because
Well, I think flagships are somewhat in the same range. We've got the
Yeah.
OnePlus 6 and the 5Z at 3300.
yeah,
So compared to that, this battery capacity on paper is a little smaller.
yeah.
So I think we'll have
Okay,
to
and
test it further.
we will have to actually test it, yeah. And finally, in the box, we have this really neat looking pair of earphones, actually, which has got this fabric,
Kevlar, like
yeah, fabric braided wire cables. Pretty good in-ear headphones. And I think the reason why they ship these good quality headphones is because the phone does boast of really good audio. It has that quad DAC system that LG
Yeah.
has been using since I think
Yeah.
the G6. So that's good.
So we've got Bhushan Parav asking us that LG has launched this phone so late. They're going to lose out on the market share because OnePlus has already captured the market.
True.
That's what he's saying. Now, Bhushan, this phone also has a few more things than the OnePlus 6. First is the IP rating that the OnePlus
Yeah.
6 is missing, and this
IP68.
yeah. So this is IP68 certified, and it also has 810G like military standard.
Yeah, it's certified like a military standard certification, which means it shouldn't, even though it doesn't look it, it should be quite rugged and should be able to withstand drops and all
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
So
So we're just gonna boot this up real quick. Also, for those who didn't know, this is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the first Android phone to have a dedicated button for Google Assistant, which is why LG basically partnered with Google for this, and which is why the phone was launched just before Google I/O this year in early May.
yeah.
So this is the first phone which has a dedicated button for launching Google Assistant, or you can also, I think, configure it to launch Google Lens.
So while it's still booting up,
Yeah.
let's go through the specifications. Like
Sure.
tell us processor, camera, everything.
So should we just go around the cosmetic
Yes.
thing first? Okay, let's see what we have around the phone. So a bunch of buttons on the left, my left, volume rocker, the dedicated button for assistant, and the power button is on the other side. On the top, we have an extra microphone for noise cancelling, and of course the SIM tray, which should accept 2 nano SIMs, or I think it's hybrid, so you should be able to put a micro SD card as well. Down at the bottom, you can see there is a 3.5 millimeter headphone socket. So LG has stuck with this, which is good. We have a USB Type C port and a single speaker grill over here.
Nice. So what's the hardware powering it? I think a lot of people are
Lot of
curious.
people are.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is being obviously LG's flagship offering for 2018. This has the Snapdragon 845, much like the OnePlus 6 and even the Zenfone 5Z, and the recently announced but horribly priced Sony Xperia XZ2.
XZ2, yeah.
Yeah.
So more questions. We are gonna go ahead with that. Jishan is asking, do you think LG will get the market share from OnePlus 6 and the 5Z?
I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be that simple. I mean, just because you have a really good pricing and you have really good specifications, it's not a simple, it's not, the math is not that simple. You know,
Yeah,
you can't just convince people, users or buyers overnight to buy your phone
yeah,
instead of the competition when you really, I mean, there hasn't really been any, what do you say, like history of,
yeah.
you
Like
know,
aggressively priced or good
aggressively
phones
priced
at
good
that
phones.
price.
I mean, not saying that the ThinQ is bad. We don't know. I mean, the G7 Plus could very well be a better phone compared to the OnePlus 6. But in terms of market share, I think OnePlus has already done a lot of damage because it's come in much earlier.
Yeah,
So it's kind of tough to take away that share,
yeah.
at least in the short term.
Yeah. So Jishan, to answer your question, I'll say it won't be easy for LG because OnePlus and Zenfone and Asus have done their homework really well. And when it comes to
Yeah,
marketing and all the other stuff, like even when it comes to the 5Z, like
yeah.
it's got really good hardware for the price it's asking. So we've got Venkat Narayan Reddy asking us again, G7 or the Galaxy S9 Plus. Now, honestly, when it
It's a
comes,
good one.
yeah, so the G7 Think and the Galaxy S9 Plus are both flagship devices from respective manufacturers, but the price difference is huge.
Yeah, the price difference is massive. So the S9 Plus, if you're talking about that one, is still about more than 60,000 rupees,
Yeah,
whereas this is a good 20,000 lesser,
roughly 20,000
roughly
rupees cheaper.
20,000 lesser, a
So,
little
yeah,
more than
so you
that.
can bump the brightness up on that so that
Yeah.
viewers will be able to.
So this is supposed to have 1,000 nits
Yeah.
brightness, which is, so this is what the user interface looks like upon first boot. And as you can see, there is a notch, but it's hidden by default. So let me just find a way to enable that.
So till then, I'll go ahead answer a few more
Yeah, sure.
questions. Arthul Madhu was asking, what's the charger rating? I'll answer that for you.
Yeah.
And so this thing has, this is, as it says, it's a fast charge. Now you've got two output ratings. One is 9 volt with 1.8 amps, and the second is 5 volts with 1.8 amps. So you're looking at somewhere around 15 watts to 18 watt of fast charging. Not 18 watt, 15 watt fast charging is what you can expect from this fast charger that's shipped with the G7 thing. Now, Akash Singh is asking us, do LG phones lag with time? Now, honestly, for this phone, it's really hard to say. We've just gone ahead and unboxed it,
Yeah.
so it's. I think we'll be able to comment on that after we're done with the review.
But if you're speaking from general, again, that depends on your
What?
type of usage
Yeah.
and the type of number of apps and stuff that you have. Because I think pretty much most phones over a period of time would slow down. Now, how much they slow down, that again would depend on the custom software and the SoC that's powering and the amount of RAM and everything. So
Yeah.
again, it's a very
Yeah.
thing.
So we've got Akash commenting again saying that please suggest a cure for this Mahamari known as the notch. Now, Akash, we already have made a video. We're asking people if they like the notch or no, and some people like it. I think you should go on that video and comment if you're against it. But LG and most other manufacturers that have phones with a notch, they give you an option to kind of switch it off
Yeah.
because it's an AMOLED display, or even the others. It kind of it kind of turns black the edges on the sides, so you
Yeah.
can't see the notch actually. So you can switch it off if you don't want it. But talking about it, what's the aspect ratio on this thing?
So this is again, I'm
Un-
not entirely sure,
hmm.
but it should be, because it has a notch on the
Notch.
top. It should be a 19 is to 9 or a
Yeah,
19.5 is to 9.
19.5 is to 9 would
Yeah,
be the.
but it's a quad HD plus IPS display, what LG has used over here, and from what we can see, I mean the colors and everything look pretty nice.
Wow. So let's go ahead with a few more questions. We've got Punos asking us, I'd like to buy this LG phone, but I'm worried only about the battery. If the phone supports quick charge or dash charge like OnePlus smartphone, I can accept this phone. Do you have any idea? So Punos, this phone does support fast charge. Like on the charger, it
Yeah,
does mention fast charge, and it looks like a 15 watt adapter, if not less than this. Now, this will support fast charge, but we will have to check how much time does it take to charge this phone from 0 to 100%, and we'll be able to comment about that only at the time of review. Now, Vinish Raghuvanshi is asking, does this phone support wireless fast charging? Does it support wireless fast charging?
That is a good question. I think we just need to quickly check the specs. I'm not sure. I mean, it has a glass back, so you have Gorilla Glass 5 over here that's been
Yeah.
used.
So it does support wireless charging with a compatible dock.
There you
So
go. So I'm guessing it would be the Qi wireless
charging
charging
standard, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what it is capable of. Now talking about, we've already had a discussion about the Snapdragon 845 in it.
Yeah.
How much RAM do I get? How much storage options?
So that is yeah, that's a good point. So the G7 Think it has 4 GB of RAM and 64 GB of storage. What we have in India is the G7 Plus Think, which has 6 GB of RAM and 128 GB of storage. And the really interesting fact is, that the 4 GB model that's currently selling in other countries like the US retails for around $750, which translates to about 51,000 rupees, whereas LG has launched the higher end variant at a much lower price, like 40,000 rupees. So that's again, it just goes to show, really good planning on LG's part. So they took their time, but I think they've got the pricing spot on. So,
So let's go ahead and ask more questions.
okay, I can't seem to turn this notch on at all. So
Okay, so
see if you have any better luck, and also if you
so
have any
you
other
have got
questions.
more questions. We've got Gaurav asking, does the phone look premium?
It definitely does. It's just been like a few minutes since we've taken it out of the box, but it. Okay, let me just get this closer. It definitely has a premium feel. There's no doubt about that. It's a fingerprint magnet, and just like any other, I mean, flagship phone with a glass back, it's quite comfortable to hold. It's not too heavy, and you get the sides are not too thin, so there's plenty of room to grip the phone pretty easily, and it fits pretty well in your hand as well. It's not too big, which is good. So I think let's just go through some of the other specifications which you not talked about while you get some questions.
Yeah.
So as you can see, there is a fingerprint sensor at the back, uh, which is within reach of your index finger, which is good. You have a dual camera setup over here, like a vertically stacked camera. So these are both 16 megapixel sensors. There is one 16 megapixel standard camera, and there's another one with a wide angle uh, lens. So you can take better landscape shots, just like the G6 offer basically. In the front, there's only a single camera, and you get a earpiece and a bunch of sensors over there.
So Sivakumar is asking us color options on the G7 Plus.
Just quickly, I think we'll have to just quickly double check that on the color options, at least the ones that have been launched in India. But what we have here and what it says on the box is apparently the black version.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me just check that. Yeah, so it just says black. Although it does have like a hint of blue when the light hits it at certain angles, it does seem a little blue. But this is basically the black
Yeah.
version.
So as of now, we have got information that we only have information on the black version.
Yeah, so I
There's
think
no other color options
I think we'll
as of
maybe
now.
double check that and maybe reply in a comment in the comments later. But for now, I think it's just the black version. Yeah.
So does the back vibrate for sound? Is what Edison Noronha is asking us. Does the back vibrate for sound?
I'm not really sure. That's something we'll have to, I guess, test
Check,
out when
yeah.
we're actually using the phone. But
So we've got
that's
one more
interesting,
question
yeah.
from we've got one question from Danish. He's asking he has the LG G6
okay.
and is it worth upgrading to the G7 Plus? So while you answer it, I'll go and search for the notch settings.
Yeah. Do
So
that.
yeah, so a G6 owner, is the G7 Plus a good upgrade for him?
So I guess you need to look at it from what point of view are you looking for an upgrade? Are you looking for an upgrade for the cameras? Are you looking for an upgrade for the display or for the battery? For the display and battery, I'm not sure how big of an improvement it would be. So it's really hard to say. In terms of processing power, yeah, the 845 is a bit more efficient than the 835, which was in the G6. So you should see some performance improvements. Cameras are something that we'll have to test out because even the G6 had, as you know, a standard and a wide angle. But how much better it is on the G7, that's only something we'll know once we actually test it out. So, maybe stay tuned for our full review once we're done with it. Maybe
So
we
we
have a
have
better answer then.
switched the notch on.
How did you do that?
So this is a new second screen option wherein you have the option to switch it between a
Oh,
custom and a
okay.
standard setup. So
Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, the notch
So
is on for those
now
who.
Akash, if you're still watching, this is the LG G7 Plus with the notch. What do you think about it? Let us know. So we've got Vinish asking us OnePlus 6 has 8 GB RAM, but this phone has 6 GB RAM.
Yeah.
Does it affect the performance?
Uh, yeah. I mean, I figure that many people would be, wondering about that before they make the purchase decision. Uh, as of now, it's again quite hard to tell. For regular use, I don't think the 6 GB, the 2 GB difference would make a huge impact. But again, going ahead over time, once your phone fills up with a lot of media and stuff and apps, there could be a difference. There could be that extra 2 GB of RAM could make a difference when the phone running at rendering the UI at full
Yeah.
60 FPS, and maybe you might
You know,
see
even
like in
probably
the animations is
yeah.
probably where you would
Yeah.
notice the difference.
Even when you're multitasking, probably 8 GB RAM will let you have more apps running in the background before it starts killing those apps.
Yeah, that's another good
So
point.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what. So for new viewers who have just tuned in, the price of the phone is 40,000 rupees.
Yeah,
in
so this
India.
is the LG G7 Plus Think that LG just quietly announced yesterday, a couple of
Yep.
days recently,
Yeah.
and
Day
yeah,
before.
it's priced at 39,990 rupees or 40,000 rupees, and from what we have in the market, this is directly competing with the 8 GB version of the OnePlus 6.
So let's go ahead with a few more questions. Vasant Wadekar is asking us camera test, please. So honestly, like just clicking a couple of pictures will not give you like a good idea of the camera. I think
Yeah.
you need to stay tuned for a full in-depth review to know how good or bad the camera is. Aditya Suryavanshi is asking, is this upgradable to Android Pie? Now, I think it's too early to say, but this is a
No.
flagship from LG. I think it will be.
This will definitely be available for sure, eligible for Android Pie.
Yeah.
Two reasons. I mean, the main one obviously being that Google has worked with LG on this phone because it
Oh,
has a
yeah.
dedicated button for assistant. So definitely they'll not want to leave this out. And secondly, I mean it is a flagship, as
Yeah.
Aditya said. So it is definitely going to be eligible for Pi. Even though there wasn't any beta
Yeah.
available for it,
this,
which was
yeah.
kind of weird, but it should definitely be upgradable to 5.
Cool. More questions. Sanskar is asking us: is this everything the OnePlus 6 tried but couldn't be? Couldn't be it. Thoughts
But
on it?
yeah, I mean,
Very well
if
put,
you
Sanskar.
if
Yeah.
if you come to think about it, a lot of the things that we wanted from the OnePlus 6, like the wireless charging and the IP rating,
Yeah.
and it didn't have because maybe we thought like OnePlus wanted to hit that aggressive price point,
And
which
then-
is why they left it out.
Yeah.
And then suddenly LG drops this bomb
With.
in the Indian market, which has those missing features and more.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think in a way this is the OnePlus what everyone
Like it-
wanted
yeah.
essentially from the OnePlus
OnePlus to
6.
be, yeah. So it could be. And honestly, I think LG has managed to price it really well. I think that is more
Yeah,
important.
I think we're all kind of really blown away by the pricing.
Yeah.
Because if you notice, like Sony also recently launched their flagship in India with the Snapdragon 845, and that is priced at an absurd
72,990.
Yeah, 73,000 rupees,
Yeah.
which is just
It's too high.
ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it has a 4K screen and everything, but still, come on.
Yeah. So Edson is asking us how much is the internal storage. So the internal storage
Yeah.
on this LG G7 Plus is 128 GB.
Yeah, and you can expand it via micro SD card
Yeah.
as well.
I'm gonna go ahead and pop the SIM tray out
Yeah,
and
sure.
check for what's there. So we've got Danish asking us what's the difference between the simple G7
Yeah.
and the 7 Plus.
So the main difference is only the RAM and storage. I think the regular G7 has 4 GB of RAM
And 64
and
GB of
64
internal.
GB of storage, whereas the Plus version, which is the only one that has been launched in India for now, it has 6 GB of RAM and 128 GB of storage.
Sounds wrong, yeah. So should LG launch a G7 at 34 and take the OnePlus 6 head on?
I mean, they could if they wanted to, right? If this is so aggressively priced, I don't see what's stopping them in launching the other version as well at a low price. So yeah, we just popped this SIM tray out, and it is a hybrid
Hybrid SIM.
SIM tray. So you have two nano SIMs or one nano SIM and micro SD card.
Card. Perfect.
So, yeah.
So Vinish is asking us when is the review video coming out for this phone, and can you make a gaming review video and when?
Oh, interesting.
So
So review video definitely. Yeah, we are hoping to get this out as soon as possible. So
So you know,
probably sometime next week,
yeah.
maybe I'm not sure, but as soon as possible.
And for gaming review, I think we'll add in like a bit about gaming, how this phone does gaming, because we've already tested, a gaming, like we've done a gaming review of the 845
Yeah.
already with the OnePlus 6. So what you can do is we'll put a bit of gaming of
Yeah,
how
I mean
this phone does
the main
gaming.
review is definitely gonna have gaming performance as well. As for a separate gaming review, I'm not sure if that makes really much sense because we've already seen, like Aditya said, how the 845 performs. So we'll
So
see. We'll see.
Ayush is asking us how is the screen performance. Now, I think we really need to talk about the screen because
Yeah.
LG says that this can go up to 1,000 nits.
Yeah, so from what I can see, I mean, the brightness is good here. We'll have to really see how it fares indoors. It's not blinding. I was expecting like blinding brightness, but for some reason it's not, and the brightness is full at the
Yeah,
moment.
I think
But I don't know if it, yeah, it's
yeah.
make no difference. So even on full brightness, it's not blindingly bright weirdly,
Yeah.
but
So at
yeah,
1,000 nits, I think the best thing to do would be to go outdoors, check it in
yeah,
outdoor light to kind of see how bright it gets. With 1,000 nits, what I would expect is in like proper bright skies, you will
yeah,
be able to see what's on
yeah,
the
yeah.
display. So
And it's a really good looking display because it's an IPS panel first of all, and it's got a really good resolution of Quad HD Plus, which is 3120 by 1440 because of this weird aspect.
So Sanskar is asking us, do you think it makes any difference in the market by its arrival this late? Like it's arrived in the market late. We've
Hmm.
already got phones like the OnePlus 6, the Asus Zenfone 5Z
Yeah.
out there. It's pretty much established. And LG launching it this late. Do you think it's going to make any difference to the market?
Again, that's again we just have to I guess wait and see how the public or the buyers respond to this because on paper this looks fantastic, but it's kind of hard to tell how the because like OnePlus has sort of already made that name for themselves of being
Marketing, the
offering
branding, yeah.
even they've got really aggressive marketing of being offering premium components and a premium experience at a much lower price compared to like Samsung and the others. LG on the other hand, I'm not sure. I haven't really seen anything yet in terms of hoardings or like any sort of marketing material for the G7, which is unfortunate. But so it's going to be tough for sure. I mean, it looks good on paper, but how well that translates into actual sales, it's something we just have to wait and see.
Okay, so we've got okay. You've already answered Aditya's question: is the IPS panel good or not on the
Yeah.
display? So we'll
Yeah,
go.
it is pretty good from what we can see so far.
So
It's pretty solid.
we'll go ahead. Ramesh is asking, please make a review comparing with the OnePlus. So I think which we will.
Yeah, we have a couple of ideas already in mind on what we want to do with this, apart from obviously the full in-depth review. But yeah, that is definitely something that we can look into.
Okay. So we've got Asutosha asking us, does it have a quad DAC for better music output?
Yes, it does. Just like the G6, the G7 Plus also has that quad DAC support inside, and a bunch of other enhancements as well. I think there's Dolby DTSX. I read that somewhere.
I think it's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So the
Not
box
Dolby.
has certification for DTS.
Yeah, so it says DTSX LG Boombox Edition.
Okay.
Whatever that means.
Okay. So we've got shout out to GamePlayer21. Like we've got a comment. People asking for a shout out. So,
Okay.
okay. Now Amol is asking us, does it support dual VoLT? Now we'll have to go ahead, pop in SIM cards to.
Unfortunately, I don't have two SIMs with me handy, which is something we should keep in mind for the next
unboxing. Yeah.
But again, it's an 845. The OnePlus 6 and the Zenfone 5Z both support dual 4G VoLTE, so there's no reason why the G7 Plus shouldn't support that as well. So
Yeah.
I think this should also support it.
So go and test that out.
We will just test that out for sure.
Yeah. So apart from that, you want to go ahead and do a quick recap of the specs, the
Yeah,
price, and everything
yeah, I
else.
think we can do that. So
Let's also list out the competitors.
yeah, sure. So
So
let's maybe start off from the basics. So for those who are just joining us, this is LG's brand new phone that they launched a couple of days back. It's their flagship offering, which was launched in May globally and has only now made it to India. This is called the G7 Plus Think. Think is their moniker that they use for all their AI enabled products, basically. So this is the plus variant, which means this phone has 6 GB of RAM and 128 GB of storage. Uh, some of the other specifications, I think it's a 6.1 inch Quad HD display with a notch on the top. You get a dedicated button for Google Assistant. There's a Snapdragon 845 inside. You get dual SIM card support with expandable storage. There's a 3000 milliamp hour battery with fast charging, and it also does wireless charging. Let's see, fingerprint sensor, dual cameras at the back, and a single camera in the front. It's IP68 certified, which means it's dust and water resistant, and it has a military spec standard,
great.
military grade, so it
Yeah.
should be relatively durable if
And
you
this is
drop it.
running Android Oreo 8?
Good
Because
question.
yeah.
Good. Oh yeah.
Danesh, these are the headphones that's in the box. Now the phone has a headphone jack and you get these in the box.
So out of the box, this is running Android 8 Oreo, and it has the June 1 security patch. So I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it should be updated once we put in a SIM or connect to Wi-Fi. I'm guessing it should get a more
Yeah.
recent update soon as well. But it
Uh,
is pretty recent out of the box as it is. So.
got Sachin asking us how is the camera portrait and edge detection. Now, wow, we've just
Wow.
gone ahead and unboxed
Yeah.
the device, Sachin. We will be testing it thoroughly when it comes to camera tests, battery tests,
Yeah.
and all the other tests. You need to stay tuned for the full review for that.
Yeah, so let's just pick up from what we were doing earlier,
Yeah.
just rounding off the specs. So this phone has been priced in India at 39,990 rupees, which is a pretty aggressive pricing considering what you're getting. And in terms of competition, I think the OnePlus 6 8 GB is the only real direct competition that I can
Yeah.
think of that comes to mind, to be very honest.
That's the OnePlus 6 is a competitor.
Yeah.
The Zenfone 5C based on the hardware is, but in terms of pricing, the 5Z is like 10,000 rupees cheaper than this thing. So yeah, so these are the other two Snapdragon 845 processor phones in the market. Now we've got Anil Kumar asking us battery backup is too short. What do you think? I'm your fan. So thanks for
So,
that, Anil.
yeah, thanks.
Battery backup on this thing, well, it does have a smaller battery capacity based on pure specifications. It's a
Yeah,
3000 milliamp hour battery. It is smaller than the OnePlus 6 and the
yeah,
Zenfone 5C.
yeah.
But I think it'll be too early for us to comment on the
It will
battery.
be because I mean, just because you have a smaller battery doesn't mean it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
It's
I guess for you are using the Galaxy S9 Plus
yeah,
that has
yeah.
a 3300 or a 3000 milliamp hour battery.
I think it's slightly more than 3,000 if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken. And with that, and Samsung's Exynos, get, I'm usually getting just under 24 hours of
Hmm.
normal usage.
Okay.
So
So yeah, so you cannot base battery life on just the battery capacity. So I think you'll need to wait. For
yeah,
the
I'm pretty sure. I mean, this is definitely not going to be. It should give you at least a day from again what given the specifications. I'm pretty sure it probably won't be like a day and a half.
Yeah,
Uh,
it depends basically on what you're doing. If you're going to be
yeah,
super heavy, if you're going to be gaming a lot, don't expect like a full day worth of battery life from it because
yeah,
the Snapdragon
fair enough.
845 is a powerful processor.
True.
So if you'll be gaming quite a lot,
Yeah, like especially PUBG and stuff, then you
Mm.
can forget about having good battery life with that game. So.
Yeah. So we've got Rahul asking us, do you think this phone is worth it?
Uh,
Well, people are asking like straight away hard hitting questions.
yeah, I mean it's okay. It's too early. I get. I know you want to know, and I want to know too. But I guess give us maybe a week, and we'll be able to give you a proper answer. But from what I can see, it's definitely a solid offering at a very good price. So I'm hoping it's worth it.
Yeah.
Let me just put it
So
that way.
we've got AY Ansari
Yeah.
asking us, does it support dual VoLT? Now, I think this is the same question as Amol asked us some time
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
We'll need to check that. We don't have two SIM cards handy at the moment, so we won't be able to
But
check that for now.
it should, because
It
it's an
should be.
845, and by default the 845 does do dual 4G VoLT.
So we've got SRK asking us why is
SRK.
no, Shahrukh Bhai, I'm not sure, but yeah. So we've got he's asking us why is LG giving late, like why is LG launching the smartphone this late?
Uh,
Well, I don't.
who knows? I mean, we don't know what. I mean, we're not sure what their strategy for India is. I mean, they've barely launched any phones this year, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they were just waiting to see how the market settles down after all Samsung and all these guys
Never
launched it.
settled.
And
And
yeah,
OnePlus, yeah.
yeah, good one.
So
So I guess they were just waiting to see what the market was like and when was the opportune time for the phone. So maybe it wasn't the best time to launch it in May. Maybe they couldn't have launched it at 40,000. When was the OnePlus launch in May?
yeah.
So maybe they were waiting
May
for
or June,
OnePlus to
yeah.
see what they would price it at, and then figure out a strategy.
Yeah.
You never know. I mean,
So we've got Danish asking us, is this waterproof? Because sometimes he wants to take photos underwater. So
yeah, it is properly waterproof, as in like it's IP68
Eight, sir.
rated, which means you can take it up to depths of 1 meter for up to 30 minutes or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so you should be able to
It
click
is properly
underwater
dust
photos
and
there.
water resistant. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got OnePlus. Josh, I guess he's asking us color variants. I think we only know that there's a black color variant for sure because we are holding it, and it says black on the box, but under different lighting it looks a little dark.
There are hints of blue when the light reflects off it. I'm not sure if that's coming across in the video.
Yeah.
Can we see?
So
Yeah,
Rahul
slightly.
Gupta is asking us which phone would you suggest under 40,000 rupees?
So I think we've taken this one earlier on in the video,
Yeah.
but we'll go over it again. So under 40,000 rupees, I think the no-brainers are the OnePlus 6, no matter which RAM or storage variant you pick, and also the Asus Zenfone 5C.
Z.
You could also look at the Huawei Nova 3 as an option if you want something different, especially that iris purple color, which looks really neat. And hopefully the LG G7 Plus will be halfway done with the review. So this is another thing you could probably consider if you're looking at your budget is around 40,000 rupees.
So yeah, I think we've got no more questions at the moment. But so what do you think about the phone? Does it feel premium? Because the OnePlus 6 had like a glass back.
Yeah.
The Zenfone 5Z had a glass back. Even
True.
this, I guess, has a glass
This
back.
has a glass back as well, as you can see with all these fingerprints which have
occurred
yeah.
in like one unboxing. You've got them.
So I definitely want to like this phone. I'm not a huge fan of LG's custom interface.
Yeah.
The skin that they use. I'm just gonna put it out there. I think OnePlus has definitely a slicker skin with fewer things. But again, that's personal preference, because some people actually prefer
having
the
a
heavy
lot more
customizations
options,
and the heavy features. Like some people actually like that. So this could appeal to you more than the OnePlus 6, because this has a lot going on. So how well it's been optimized and stuff, we'll only know, in a week or so after using it. But so far, I'm pretty impressed with LG, especially the pricing.
Yeah, Anil is asking us, is it worth upgrading to this from the Mi Mix 2? He's currently using a Mi Mix 2 and he's a power
Mix
user.
2. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I don't think we've come across a lot of people who've been using the Mi Mix 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Mi Mix 2, I think that's a Snapdragon 835 processor.
Yeah.
It's all display.
Yeah.
Whereas on this thing you have a notch, and this thing actually has an earpiece. I think that thing uses like
some sort of vibration mechanism to conduct sound.
So yeah, is this like a worthy upgrade? Now Anil, just looking at the specifications and stuff, the Snapdragon 845 is an upgrade over the processor you're currently using.
Yeah.
And this will definitely be an upgrade when it comes to your gaming and any other processor related.
But again, I don't think that the difference is going to be like night and day, because especially for day-to-day tasks like WhatsApp and Facebook and stuff, you're probably not going to notice any difference. One thing that you will lose switching to the G7 is definitely that wow factor
Yeah.
because the Mi Mix,
With the big display on
the
the Mi Mix
huge
2, yeah.
display, yeah, you're definitely not going to get that wow factor. But apart from, I think that the cameras, we didn't find that
No, the
good.
cameras weren't all that great
One
on the
that
Mi
great.
Mix
So
2.
I
Yeah.
definitely, I mean, I can't say that for sure because we've not tested it, but I'm pretty certain that this should offer a better camera performance compared
So
to the
yeah, I
Mi Mix
think we
Plus.
can go ahead start wrapping up. So
Yeah.
this was the G7 Plus thing. If you guys have any more questions, now is the time to put it in the comment section. And yep, so it's priced at 39,990 rupees. Now that's aggressive pricing by LG.
Yep.
So what do you guys think about the
Yeah,
device?
let us know your thoughts basically. I mean, like, we think it's a good competitor. We think the pricing is great, even though LG might be a little late to the party, but better late than never.
So we've got one more question asking: is there any Bixby type button in the
Yeah,
G7?
there is in fact. So this is the first Android phone, if I'm not wrong, to have a dedicated button for Google Assistant. So obviously it doesn't summon Bixby, but you can summon. I'll just show that to you. It's not set up, but so you can. Hang on. You can summon Google Assistant, or I think switch it to Google Lens if I'm not mistaken. So whichever you use more. So yeah, it does have
Nice.
that.
So we've got Ashutosh asking us, it looks smaller in dimensions than the OnePlus 6. Is it smaller?
Hmm. Mm, hard.
It's
to
very hard to
say.
say.
It definitely feels lighter,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not mistaken. It feels lighter than the OnePlus 6.
Oh yeah, it definitely
No,
feels lighter.
it does feel
It does
lighter,
feel light.
and I guess
A
it might
little
be
lighter.
a teeny bit narrower to hold. Like it feels slightly better to hold than the OnePlus 6. We're not sure. We'll have to compare maybe the exact dimensions, but it's it definitely feels a little bit more compact. Obviously, it's a lot taller, so you're still gonna have a tough time reaching the top of the screen with your thumb. There's no way you're gonna be able to reach it without moving, shuffling the
Yeah.
phone around.
So we've got Jigar asking us, do you think that the glass back justifies, is justified because it supports wireless charging? Like, why else would manufacturers make fragile phones? Is what he's asking. He's like, do you think it makes sense to go for a glass back for wireless charging at the cost of, rigidity or drop proof? Like this, a glass back would shatter compared to a metal. So does it make sense to go for a glass back? Like, is the support for wireless charging worth it? That's what Jigar is asking.
But again, I guess it depends again on how you look at it, right? If you're somebody who does use or has bought into that whole wireless charging thing, then you will want to have the glass back, and I think that's why manufacturers are pushing glass back phones because they want to push wireless charging to make it mainstream, right? Right now, like I don't know, like most people still prefer wired charging because it's faster, obviously.
Yeah. So wired charging is faster. Wireless charging is a bit of a convenience. You can just drop it on a wireless charging pad and forget about it. You don't have to fiddle with the cable. So we've got more questions. We've got someone asking what's the price. Okay, it is priced at 39,990 rupees in India. Now this is the G7 Plus thing.
Yeah.
It has a Snapdragon 845 processor, 6 GB of RAM, and 128 GB of internal storage. Kunal Kukureja is asking us, does it have Face ID? Now, Face ID is Apple's technology. Face recognition would be like the right term for it.
Let me just quickly check. Basically, what he's asking if it has face recognition,
Yeah.
Android face recognition.
Something apart from the default ones. Yeah, face.
Yep, it does have face recognition.
Yeah.
So let's just
Go ahead, set it
try
up.
and set it up.
So Anil Kumar is asking us, is full screen gestures available? Does it have? I think Anil, do you mean to ask, does it have gesture navigation, or what gestures are you asking about exactly? So I was just going ahead with Face ID.
Yeah, so let me just see if this works. Hang on. Yeah, so this is basically the setup process for Face ID. So it does have face recognition. I think the gestures, let me just see how quickly this works. Nod your head up and down, okay? No, that's it.
Okay. So, okay, it does have like a detailed one, but it only does it have dedicated hardware for Face ID? Like, is there any mention?
Oh, dedicated hardware. I do not I'm not sure actually, to be very honest. But from what I can see over here, it seems to be just using the front camera. I think.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it has. If you're basically referring to like the dot projector that's there
Yes.
on the 10
So
and the Find X.
you guys need to go and check the review of the Oppo Find X because it has like dedicated hardware
Yeah.
which slides up on a sliding module, and it has a dot matrix, dot projector, and an infrared camera. So even in low light, it will be able to recognize your face. So more questions, more questions. Is it? Okay, I think that's pretty much all the questions we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, yeah. I mean, we think the phone is good
Mm-hmm.
at the price. Let us know what you think about the LG
I guess
G7
I've missed
Plus.
one question from
Yeah,
Ashutosh.
sure.
Can we customize the Google Assistant button?
It can be customized from what I remember reading about this.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think, but you can only change it to, I think, it's Assistant or
Oh,
Google Lens, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
okay.
But
Yeah.
again, it's something we will definitely check. I'm not
So you
entirely
cannot map
sure.
it to an app launch or something of that sort, like a different action. Can you map the button? Well,
That's a good
the
question.
settings are not easy to find, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like
see,
LG's custom skin, they've kind of made menus and different sub menus, so it is a little hard to find the right
it
settings.
is quite the pain.
Yeah.
But we will double check that and let you know. So let us know what you think about the G7 Think, LG's latest flagship phone in the market. This is going up against the OnePlus 6. So, would you pick the G7 or would you still stick with the OnePlus 6? We're curious to know actually. Thanks for watching, guys, for unboxing and stay tuned for the full review only on gadgets360.com.